speaking of international volunteering, you've been a pretty big proponent of a volunteer event that's somewhat of a mystery in the U.S. International, I'm even looking at my notes, International Volunteer Managers Day. Now at VolunteerMatch, we're aware of this event and its use of kind of promoting volunteer management, making sure volunteer managers are appreciated, and also the role of supporting volunteers. But what is this day really all about, though, and what can we learn in the U.S. from it?
I'll backtrack for a second. I guess my own motivation and passion and my company, People First Total Solutions, is that the number one reason why people don't volunteer is because the organisation managed them badly. That's a shock for a lot of people. They sort of think that people are sitting out there in the community not wanting to volunteer. But the research again and again shows that many people turn up, want to volunteer, and they're treated badly. So and my concern has been actually to support volunteer managers, to help them with training, support, resources, etc., etc. Now I've been saying, well, I think we need to take a step back, and we actually have to assist the community, not-for-profits and government to think about how do we actually support volunteer managers, and hence my interest in support for International Volunteer Managers Day. To say to the community, people don't just turn up out of nowhere. They have to be recruited, supported, trained, encouraged in some way. How do you look after those people? How do you support those people? Now, to be frank, like many things that come to the US from outside the US, it takes a while to catch on. And sometimes I joke and think sometimes we should call it US Volunteer Managers Day in the US, because I think people might actually find that more palatable than international. It's something that's taking off in a big way in the UK, Australia and New Zealand. It's starting to pick up in parts of South America. It is a fairly new movement.
And what are the activities that are actually taking place? What are the things people are doing?
Different people are doing different things. The major focus is trying to help organisations to actually focus on their volunteer managers. So one of the most creative things that I've heard of is that, and it actually happened in the west coast of the US, a group of volunteer managers wrote to the CEO of another volunteer manager. And they kind of swapped names and addresses, and they wrote to that other CEO and they said, I've met your volunteer manager, and they manage 400 volunteers who contribute $300,000 to your organisation of labour and have had these community outcomes. I'm very impressed with the organisation, etc., etc. And the CEO's got these letters from other volunteer managers from other organisations and went, wow, I should know more about this. And it was interesting, one woman said to me that her CEO actually put that into her personnel file, and when it came around for her review, she actually got a salary increase as a result of this letter, because they said, you obviously are making this impact on the organisation.
Well, something tells me if we could tie this event to salary increases in the US,
it would take off enormously. Well, maybe not from CEOs who actually have to pay those salary increases. But it is some volunteer managers have resisted the day because they've been saying, well, we should be about celebrating volunteers. Why are we talking about ourselves? And it's not just about patting people on the back, it's about saying we need to raise the standard of recruitment of volunteer managers, the standard of training of volunteer managers, and start to take it seriously as a profession, because it actually has an impact on our communities.
Sounds like a great idea. Well, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Robert. All the best to VolunteerMatch.
Thanks.
No worries. Take care.